Hey everyone, I thought I was playing some Vice earlier, Vice mod, and it just made me think about how much I love Kaiserreich, and I wanted to give that a go ahead. I hadn't played Hearts of Iron in a little bit of a while, mostly because I got into other things like Escape from Tarkov. I've been playing, and I don't know, Escape from Tarkov right now is having some not issues, but basically the gameplay is kind of slow because there are bugs with it, and it's only in beta anyway, so I'm not that surprised. But I'll come back to that in a little while. So I thought I'd play something else. I was gonna do some Kaiserreich. I was thinking about maybe doing it as the United States. Um, let's actually do that as the United States. I use Iron Mode on because I don't like the idea of using cheats. I hate using cheats, and I find when I play games that have cheats available, sometimes I use them because I just, it gets boring, you know. Um, so I don't. So I'm gonna do as the United States, and I think what I'm gonna do is kind of go for the not the CSA, not the communism country. I'm gonna go for the one that's kind of like the South, and kind of do this as a let the South rise again kind of episode. Oh, just waiting on this to load. All right. So, usually, if you ever play Kaiserreich before, you start off, you select the United States, you start off, and it kind of gives you a bunch of events that let you lead into um, the revolution or avoid the revolution altogether. So, I'm going to purposefully go try to do the revolution. Um, the thing is that anything that you research or or do is going to carry over um, into the country that you take over. So that's something good to keep in mind. Um, I'm gonna focus a lot on stuff. Something to drink, please. Yeah, if I could. Sure. Um, Usually when you go for the southern route, um, yeah, as much as I don't want to, I'm gonna go that way. I'm gonna ignore pretty much everything else, um, because the AI will, it's not gonna matter. I want to just only specific events. But yeah, basically the way this mod works is that I know it's kind of cheaty. Go away. But I'm gonna build stuff in my country. You don't get to build much. Is the other thing. So 3. I need a lot of military factories. Yeah, because I think you take. Is it everything? No, it's like this, or it might be just this. I know it's a little cheaty to do it that way, but I mean, look, 6 factories, in Georgia, it's not even gonna matter. And I think there's an event that comes up at some point that even prevents that more. Yeah, and you can't choose any focuses as the United States right off the bat. You basically have to wait for a couple of events to fire off first. Like it really depends. And the United States can become a powerhouse, or it can split off into like four. It's what ends up happening is that depending on how the events work, you have the CSA, which is kind of like the Middle America, I guess, like more like Detroit, Chicago kind of area. New England breaks off, believe it or not, but what ends up happening is they get an event with Canada to either rejoin Canada or I think the United Kingdom, and or be its own puppet or its own country. So like basically like it's these guys are by themselves. These guys are aggressive and they'll attack basically almost I think almost everybody in most cases. They're all events that are triggered, so like sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. Um, California usually breaks off, and then there's usually the South, which is like uh, whatchamacallit. It's usually like I think up to Texas, and then like this. So it's tough at first. the events give you like your own military and navy, but like it's really kind of one of those things where you have to be kind of careful, otherwise you might get squished. Let's see, just waiting on this to finish up. Yeah, like I said, I ignore this stuff because it ends up giving you stuff anyways, and like you don't have a lot to begin with, so it's like whatever. And like I doubt this is gonna like finish. Yeah, 500 and 256 days. Doesn't take long to get the whatchamacallit, to have the rebellions, which figure, because basically you're waiting for one that kind of lets you choose like one of these things, which you want the I found if you do the one that is General MacArthur, what ends up happening is that you choose General MacArthur, and then there's like three others, which are all about whatchamacallit, which are all about like martial law and like taking over and all that stuff. And what ends up happening is that you end up basically just keeping the territory, so it's all good. You end up causing like people to be like, oh, I don't want to be this, I want to be free, and they rebel. Yeah, like that's probably not even going to. That might have enough time. So, it doesn't take long. It's like a year of game time. So, and then I kept the historical focuses off, which for Kaiserreich, it kind of like makes it a little unpredictable. So, Indian citizen, no veto the bill. They can't be free. No freedom for Indians. No. I'm just trying to piss everybody off so they'll want to rebel. I don't know if that actually affects it, but let's just assume it does. Because I have anything against Indians, just saying. Like, why is it a big deal? Oh, thanks. Do. Yeah, I think it kicks off in November. It's not long. It's like October, November is when everything kind of happens, because that's when the elections are. I want to say, again, I'm just kind of going through this so I can get to a point, because the downside with Iron Man mode is you can't go to old saves either. So it's not like I can do this once and then save it and then just reload it whenever I want. And I want to do the Iron Man mode. We gotta. Good. Let's see. Is there anything in here? Yeah, I don't want to do anything that's gonna. Too light. Artillery. Yeah, I'll do that. Some machine tools, and I think I can squeeze that in May. So it's like 6 months. Yeah, that should be enough time. Basically, after these are done, I'm not gonna have any time to do it because whatchamacallit happens. Yeah, see, like you lose because of the political power. It doesn't even make a difference. Guilty. Authoritarian. Sure, why not? Anything to disrupt the system. Mike's a little all over the place. May, June, July. Bow, bow, chicka, bow, wow. Bow, chicka, bow, wow. Bow, chicka, bow, wow. Bow, chicka, bow, wow. Bow, chicka, bow. Yeah, -14. So like, that's what I mean. It's just not even worth it. You can consider it cheaty if you want, but as far as the US goes, it's like, it doesn't make a difference. Oh yeah, I'm using the extended and streamlined mod for this. Um, I really like that mod. It is actually a lot of fun, and it makes, in like, especially when you play like one of the big countries like the US, especially in the later game, mid to late game, Germany, the Soviet Union, Soviet Union, Soviet Russia, Second Russian War, well, that kicked off I think early. Although I thought the Russian, oh, this is Kaiserreich, that's right. Because I was like, the Russian Revolution happened in like 1916, 1917, 1918, something like that. So that's kind of early. Yeah, if I was going to play as the, well, it's not going to kick off yet, but the wind. Like I said, it's when you know certain things are going to happen. Like, I don't really play as Germany. I don't know how that's affected, or like Union of Britain, or Communist France, basic Communist Britain, Communist France. Oh, looks like the Soviet Russians aren't doing too bad. Is it Trotsky? No, it's Nikolai Bukharin. I don't know historically who he is. Thank you, Han. Oh wow, so from other nations from Britain. How much do they weigh again? Number one, weapons one. Maybe that's why. How many? Does it tell me how many? No. Although it could just be that they haven't moved all their troops back. Russians, that is, haven't moved all their troops to like attack them. Come on, July. Yeah, there you go. So Finland's now on the Russian side. Yeah, they're probably gonna lose. They almost always do. I mean, the one reason I like playing as the United States is it gets kind of exciting, believe it or not, because you have all these. The U.S. gets split up into 3 or 4 different countries, and then in most cases they all fight each other, or they fight like one, 2 people fight. The U.S. fights the communists, the CSA, and then fights the other guys down here, and then maybe fights the thing. I've had games where I'll fight these guys, I'll fight the US, and then basically the CSA, the Synchronists, will fight me and the US, and what we'll do is we'll squish it. Then New England will go off to Canada, and I'll be like, I don't want to declare war. And then the CSA and me will squish together, and then I'll push out this way. I almost, not always lose, but like I lose a lot because it's just like especially playing as the South, it's just like you don't have a lot of industry, and it's just kind of tough, because you have to be careful with your troops, and it's like if you get into a pocket of like really high attrition, you'll just burn through your troops. Oh, I got my 6 factories back. 50% complete, yeah, except I need it like within like the next 2 months. It's just not gonna happen. I mean, this stuff will, but oh man, I'm just so thirsty. Mass assault, and then maybe do that. It's not gonna be for me. It's gonna be for them. No, do that and do what's the other one? I always like researching these. Right, yeah, so you do this, and then General MacArthur becomes the leader, and then you do, maybe something has to trigger first. Yeah, so that triggers, and then you go in here, and then you destroy domestic enemies. No, protectorate democracy. I don't know if it really matters. I usually do destroy domestic enemies. And then a bunch more events trigger where they're like, what do you want to do about this? Kill them. And basically what ends up happening is they're like, we didn't sign up for this. We're against this kind of treatment. So they're like, we're forming our own nation. We're communists. Ah. Yeah, I want to be basically the fascists of America First. Yeah, the nationalist populist or that paternal. Yeah, I can't remember if it's Norton Wise or Huey Long that I take as. Because the CSA, the combined synchronists, which are basically like, oh yeah, I guess they're not really communists. They're just like the syndicalists are kind of like, yeah, socialists. Like it's one of those weird in-betweens where it's not really, they're not commies, but they're not like not commies. Better dead than red. That's what I always say. Let's see, 3, 2, 1. And there's not much longer after this. Guess you can do that. Yeah, I don't know how long this episode's gonna be. It may only be like half an hour. It really kind of depends. Domestic enemies, declare martial law. Crackdown on both. That's what I usually do. Declare martial law, and then I think this is when the CSA, the combined synchronists, kick off first. Yeah, see, I don't want to play as them, so I do Stand by the Republic, so they get their own part. This is the only thing that kind of sucks. Our fleet's mutiny. United States secedes from the Union diplomacy. Yeah, AUS, the American Union State. That's why I want to be. Yeah, this it ends up you end up getting more space than this. Yeah. Oh, so it is. What's this? North Carolina. Pause. All right. Where is it? Or do I get a custom one? Or maybe after? I don't know. So that's the thing. So you kind of start with your own. You inherit the things you researched before, but you start your own. I search that. Delay. Let's see. Yeah, do that. And do that. And then you need to make sure you produce weapons, support equipment, artillery. That, ignore tanks and planes for right now. High popularity, get some resources. The CSA. So I want to take on the USA as much as I can. So this is kind of like where it gets questionable because they get the same event, so they may decide to attack the United States, they may not. So it can get kind of questionable about how it is, but I want to squeeze in as much as I can from them. Let's see, charismatic. Yeah, I'm gonna do George Patton Jr. Yeah, see, they clear war on me anyways. Ah! Yeah, so the United States and the Pacific, National Second American Revolution. To hell with Canada. Canada seizes Alaska. Yeah, I do deal with them later. And then usually they get flipped for Minister Sports Ideology. military. Oh, good. This war has begun. Yeah, so I can also claim whatchamacallit. Oh, here we go. You take the submarines out. American Union State Fleet. SS1. And then I usually do this as like Fleet 1 or First Fleet, so that way it'll be at the top. Skill. Better if we have. We do. Convoy attack. Convoy attack this. And then I want him to search and destroy here. And here. Alright. Bring that down a level. Papist volunteers. German volunteers. Oh, nice. Ah! There we go. So here's the other thing too. I think that what we end up doing is 100, 600. Yes, absolutely. Accept German volunteers. National building our military. Economics of war. We need to improve things a little bit. Yeah, more like a lot. Civilian factories. Yeah, I need to. Where's the thing? For this, there we go. Communist France. Do that. Let's see, do one with Florida, one with Georgia maybe. Actually I like this flag. The sword and torch, these two aren't. Keep using the party banner. Those two aren't bad looking, but I kinda like that flag. How's my storage? Infantry equipment is terrible, but I definitely need more. Mexico or Italian? Okay, sure. Oh, let's see. I think what I'll do is to SS1, do that, and then light cruisers to First Fleet, destroyers to First Fleet, and then do heavy cruiser to First Fleet. Yeah, I'm not gonna. So you kind of put the squeeze on them. And the problem is that these guys are up here, so they're getting squeezed really, really bad. So taking this territory is not that difficult. But what ends up happening is that like you need enough here to basically watch them so they don't take advantage or anything. Large ship. I probably lost some ships. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I did. I lost one. Though they lost a lot. are the synchronous. William Halsey. This is probably going to be a pretty good... I lost 1 battleship, 17 destroyers, and 3 light cruisers. They lost 2 battle cruisers, 2 battleships, 23 destroyers, 4 heavy cruisers, 2 light cruisers, 16 subs. That was a good naval battle. That could not have gone much better, except I'm probably going to lose. Oh no, this is against the United States. I'm probably going to lose. Oh, this is those assholes. I mean the other guys. Yeah, these lost some. Oh, just a single submarine. It's not so bad. Yeah, usually the issues that I've always had has been, whatchamacallit, has been men. You just end up losing men. 2 military factories. How are the planes doing? I don't think they're really doing anything. Those there. Why is this YT Eisenhower versus Patton? That's kind of funny. Cavalry. So like our 13,000 to 5,000 fielded, so we're fairly even. We just don't have the thing. And see, they invade too, so it's basically like squishy squish. See, can I move up there? Move from here. Yeah, see, there they go. They're now, New England is like its own country. Missing equipment, tactical bomber. Oh, again, it's not gonna matter really. Fighter 2. Washington, yeah, falls to them. Not always, but most of the time. So then what I like to do is start to break out here. Economics of war. Military, more civilian. I want to take Texas. What I start to do, since the lines are like kind of normalizing. Oh, can we change this so it doesn't go from there. Want to attack from here. Huh. Weird. Might need to split them in half. And do this. Maybe attack that way. Give them reinforce reconnaissance. Yeah, probably give them Devers. Which way? Yeah. Do that. See if I can take, because if I can. Oh, they didn't. I thought they would have. Make him like green. His naval, yeah. His pilot. Hold Korea. Yeah, right. Koreans. Yeah, that's the problem with these militia units, is that they're not very good. I mean, they get the job done, but they're not very good. And I'm starting to run out of stuff. But what I need to do is break out into Texas to be able to get the factories and whatnot in there. Which isn't going to be too hard, maybe? I don't know. Need military. Make that like 7. Probably gonna delete that. I don't even want to think about using those. 10 maybe. I'm not going to be able to replenish the numbers that I need. Chief. How about these guys? School maneuver, armor division attack. School thought, fire support, school maneuver, armor, artillery, special forces. Revision organization, revision career. That's probably the best I could think of right now. That's not too bad. Chief of Army Commando, no. That's probably not too bad either. Yeah, because we want to break through, but we're not going to be able to. They're starting to break through a little bit. Oh. Game crash. Game might have crashed. Nope. Just did a little bit of a hiccup there. Not doing too bad in Oklahoma and Texas. These lines are holding right now. Where am I? I think this was like my original. Speech. Yeah, I think I had this. Oh shit. I can like get rid of that completely. Ooh, it's the same thing. Yeah. I don't know where the convoys are coming from. Oh, where are the Italian? Oh, they're just like defending. Italians and these guys are just defending. Hmm. So I filled up. Patriotic workers. Point consumption. Some of those research gain. Might do that. That's not doing too bad. As long as we don't lose too much territory up here is the problem. I'm not losing too much. That's actually debatable. Not doing too bad. Is this defensive or was this reconnaissance? Yeah, that's probably okay. I'm gonna have to take this down. Yeah. I need the factories, that's what I really need. How's the war going? 100,000. Yeah, I'm losing a lot of troops in the process. Aren't these done almost? No, almost. That's what I need. Need more of that kind of. hopefully would help. Shaved a few days off. Not too bad. Oh. Division Germany returning 3 divisions to the German Empire. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's great. Germany, thanks. Agriculture. Patriotic. Yeah, might as well. Yeah, I can't do like too many major offensives all at once. Yeah, I'm hoping if I can get Houston, which I think is what, right there? No, San Antonio. Houston's down here, isn't it? Oh, right, it is right there. I was like, it should be. There's somewhere. Why aren't you guys attacking? Oh, because it doesn't make a difference. Serbia declared war on Bulgaria. Alright. Come on, go. Low manpower, yeah, I'm aware. What? Oh, the song of Egypt's called of Australia? Canada. Huh. Well, I wonder if I can untap Louisiana. I wonder if I can do this. I mean, it's only 21 divisions, but nope. Terrible idea. Don't we have leftover Chinese from last night? Yeah. I was kind of banking on that. Actually, I think I'm gonna call this end of a video. I'm not doing too well as the American Union state. I mean, I'm not doing terrible either. But, like, the CS, the Combined Syndicates of America, is just growing and growing and growing, and I'm just not going to be able to push them back. I hate it so much. So, I think I'm going to call this an end. Alright, well, if you enjoyed the video, remember to like and subscribe. Otherwise, I'll see you until next time. Bye.